They say the strongest marriages aren't built on flawless moments. They are built on grace, forgiveness, and choosing each other over and over again, even when life makes you forget. I never truly understood those words until the day my husband forgot our 12th anniversary, and a message from beyond the grave saved our marriage. A text message arrived at exactly 7:14 p.m. I stared down at my phone, my vision blurring with tears as I read the words. "Sorry, Katherine. Something came up at work. I'll be home late." That was it. No flowers, no phone call, no anniversary dinner, just a cold text message. After 12 years of marriage, I finally realized a heartbreaking truth. Forgetting hurts a lot more than fighting. I sat alone at the dining table in our home, just outside Seattle, Washington. The candles I had lit hours ago had already burned halfway down, and the dinner I had spent the afternoon preparing was growing cold. Across from me sat an empty chair, the exact chair where my husband Brian was supposed to be sitting. I looked up at our wedding photo hanging on the wall and felt my heart sink. Today wasn't just another Tuesday, it was our anniversary, and somehow Brian had forgotten, again. I wasn't a woman who needed expensive gifts. I didn't care about diamonds, and I never expected grand cinematic surprises. I just wanted to know that I still mattered, that he remembered, that after all these years, I was still a priority. But lately, it felt like life had placed me at the absolute bottom of his list. Work, deadlines, and meetings always came first. Everything came first. With a heavy heart, I blew out the candles and packed away the untouched food. The house felt painfully quiet. Our daughter Sophia was spending the weekend at a friend's house, and the deep silence only made the loneliness worse. As I carried the dishes into the kitchen, my eyes landed on a framed photograph near the window. It was Brian and his mother, Margaret. She had passed away 2 years ago, after a long, brave battle with cancer. Margaret had been so much more than a mother-in-law to me. She was my friend, my confidant, my second mother. She was the woman who had welcomed me into the family when Brian and I were young, broke, and struggling. No matter how busy life got, Margaret always remembered birthdays, anniversaries, and special milestones. She truly believed that love needed to be celebrated. I suddenly remembered something she once told me. Never let ordinary days steal your important ones. At the time, I had just smiled, but now those words felt like a knife in my chest. Because ordinary days had stolen everything. Around 9 o'clock that night, I finally heard Brian's truck pull into the driveway. The front door opened, and his voice echoed through the quiet house. "Katherine," I didn't answer. A few seconds later, he walked into the kitchen. I watched his face instantly change the moment his eyes landed on the untouched anniversary cake sitting on the counter. Then he looked at the date displayed on the microwave. The sudden realization hit him like a physical blow. "Oh no, Katherine, I am so sorry." I let out a bitter, empty laugh. "Are you?" I honestly completely lost track of the date. That answer somehow hurt even more. Because forgetting meant he hadn't thought about it at all, not once, not even for a single second during his busy day. He tried to apologize. He tried to explain the pressure at work, but I was just too exhausted. Exhausted from feeling invisible. Exhausted from pretending everything was fine. That night, we went to bed facing opposite directions, separated by a wall of heavy, painful silence. Neither of us slept. The next morning, I woke up early to find Brian was already gone. A small note sat on the kitchen counter. "I'm so sorry. We'll talk tonight, I promise." I crumpled the paper and tossed it straight into the trash. Promises felt cheap right now. Around noon, a sudden knock at the door broke the silence. I opened it to find an elderly woman standing on the porch, holding a large, cream-colored envelope. "Are you Katherine Miller?" "Yes, I am. I have something for you. It was left in my care 2 years ago by Margaret Miller. She asked me to deliver it to you on this exact date." For a moment, I couldn't breathe. My hands began to tremble as I reached for the envelope. Margaret, the woman I still missed every single day. "This exact date?" "Your anniversary." She gave a gentle nod and quietly walked away, leaving me standing frozen in the doorway. The envelope felt heavier than paper should feel. When I walked inside and opened it, I found a handwritten letter addressed to me, and another, smaller envelope with Brian's name written across the front. Tears instantly filled my eyes as I recognized Margaret's beautiful, familiar handwriting. I carefully unfolded the page. "Katherine, if you're reading this, then I am already gone. And if today's date is correct, it means another anniversary has arrived for you and Brian. First, let me say something important. Marriage is not measured by perfect days. It's measured by the way two imperfect people keep choosing each other. By the second sentence, I was already crying. The letter continued, filled with Margaret's wisdom about love, forgiveness, and how easily life's heavy responsibilities can distract us. She shared stories about how Brian's father used to forget their own anniversaries when they were young. She admitted there were times she wanted to give up, times she felt entirely unseen and deeply hurt. But then she wrote something that stopped my breath completely. I know my son better than anyone. One day he will disappoint you. Not because he doesn't love you, but because he carries the exact same flaw his father carried. He gets so lost in the weight of responsibility that he forgets to look at the moments happening right around him. But if Brian ever forgets your anniversary after I am gone, I need you to open the second envelope together. For the rest of the afternoon, I waited. I must have read Margaret's letter 20 times, and each time, it felt like she was sitting right beside me on the couch, comforting me. Around 6 o'clock, the front door opened. Brian stepped inside, carrying a beautiful bouquet of flowers. His face looked completely exhausted, weighed down by guilt. Katherine, look, about last night. Brian, your mother left something for us. Everything in the room seemed to stop. The color drained from Brian's face as I handed him the envelope. He instantly recognized the handwriting, and for a long moment, he couldn't even speak. He sat down tightly beside me on the sofa, and together, we opened the second envelope. Inside was a folded document and a final note. Brian opened the note first, and the moment he started reading, tears welled up in his eyes. I had never seen him cry like that, not even at her funeral. What does it say, Brian? She planned something. She knew. He handed me the note. Brian, if you're reading this, it means you forgot your anniversary, which only proves that I know my son very well. Don't feel ashamed, sweetheart. Just finish what I started. Attached to the note was a legal reservation confirmation. It wasn't for a restaurant or a hotel, but for a beautiful lakeside cabin in Oregon that Margaret had secretly purchased years before her passing. The note continued, I have fully paid for 3 landmark anniversary weekends for the two of you. One for your 12th anniversary, one for your 15th, and one for your 20th. I wanted you both to have a sanctuary, a place where the noise of life could never interrupt your love. I stared at the paperwork, completely speechless. Margaret had meticulously planned these trips years before her death. She knew she wouldn't be alive to see them, yet she was still fiercely taking care of our marriage from beyond this life. But the biggest surprise was at the bottom of the page. The property documents revealed that after our final anniversary visit, full ownership of the lakeside cabin would automatically transfer to Brian and me. It was her final, permanent gift to us, a place for our family, a place for memories. Brian buried his face in his hands, his shoulders shaking as he sobbed. I forgot. I've been so focused on work that I forgot everything. I reached over and tightly grabbed his hand. No, Brian, you forgot a date, that's all. He looked up at me, his eyes red and filled with tears, and said something I will carry with me for the rest of my days. I've been so busy trying to provide a good life for us that I stopped living the life I already had. That sentence changed everything for us. It was a harsh truth, not just for him, but for me too. We had become absolute experts at surviving, but terrible at celebrating. That very weekend, we packed our bags and drove out to the cabin. The road wound beautifully through thick forests and snow-capped mountains. The entire journey felt like Margaret was traveling right there beside us, waiting around every corner. The cabin sat on the edge of a perfectly still, quiet lake, surrounded by towering pine trees. It was peaceful. It was perfect. And inside, we found one last surprise left by her, a memory box filled with old family photographs, handwritten recipes, and our past anniversary cards. Tucked inside was one final sticky note from Margaret that read, "If you're here together, then love one." For hours that evening, Brian and I sat on the wooden dock overlooking the water, holding hands and truly talking for the first time in years. We didn't talk about bills, schedules, or deadlines. We talked about our dreams, our old memories, and us. As the sun slowly disappeared behind the mountains, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple. Brian squeezed my hand tightly. I can't change yesterday, Katherine, but I can choose tomorrow. And tomorrow, I choose you again. At that exact moment, the deep wound inside me completely healed. Not because our anniversary had suddenly become perfect, but because love had found its way back home, guided by a mother who refused to stop caring, even after she was gone. Today, that cabin belongs to our family, and our daughter Sophia loves spending her summers there. Brian hasn't forgotten a single anniversary since. But the greatest gift Margaret left behind wasn't the real estate or the trips. It was the timeless reminder that a strong marriage isn't built on flawless, perfect moments. It is built on grace, forgiveness, and the beautiful choice to find your way back to each other, no matter how far life pulls you apart. It's so easy to get caught up in the daily grind of deadlines, bills, and responsibilities. But true love requires us to pause and appreciate what we already have. Have you ever experienced a moment where life got too busy and you almost lost sight of what truly matters? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If this story touched your heart, please give it a thumbs up, share it with someone you love, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button with the notification bell turned on. We bring you deeply moving, real-life stories just like this every single week. Thank you for watching, take care of your loved ones, and we'll see you in the next video.